Tonight, the Prime Minister threatens to sue.
It speaks to a multifaceted campaign to silence those who speak out against him.
The opposition leader says, bring it on. What's behind the political move in the SNC-Lavalin affair?
I would do anything to change what happened on that Saskatchewan highway.
From tragedy to action, how one humbled Broncos family started a movement to save lives.
It tasted pretty damn good, like the taste of a really good dessert.
Success is sweet, from relative unknown to making history on the court. Tennis star Bianca Andreescu is our Sunday interview. This is The National.
It's been 2 months now since the SNC-Lavalin affair broke, and now another twist in this ongoing controversy. Justin Trudeau's lawyer putting the Conservative leader on notice, threatening to sue Andrew Scheer for statements he made about the case. And as Olivia Stefanovic explains, Scheer is now daring Trudeau to follow through.
Trudeau should know what he's getting into.
Instead of backing down, opposition leader Andrew Scheer is doubling down.
I stand by every single criticism I have made of Mr. Trudeau's conduct.
Refusing to retract comments he made, saying that there is concrete evidence that proves Justin Trudeau led a campaign to politically interfere with SNC-Lavalin's criminal prosecution, an allegation Trudeau's lawyer calls entirely false. A legal notice sent to Scheer last week points out a number of what Trudeau's lawyer calls highly defamatory and unproven claims, including that the SNC-Lavalin affair is corruption on top of corruption on top of corruption. Trudeau's team says that statement implies criminal wrongdoing and is libelous.
Is it illegal for someone just to pressure the Attorney General to intervene on a case?
In my opinion, it's not illegal.
Jody Wilson-Raybould testified that nothing criminal took place. Still, Scheer says his words would hold up in court.
Absolutely. I believe that it's based on a fair comment.
Today, the Liberals disagreed.
The ball is in his court, and Mr. Scheer will decide whether or not he wants to take a close look at some of the statements which he's issued.
A push in the polls is what a trip to the courts will do for the Conservatives.
This Conservative strategist says the Liberals have created an opportunity for the opposition.
Every day SNC-Lavalin is in the news. Every day Andrew Scheer believes he's winning and believes Justin Trudeau is losing.
The Liberals insist the Conservative leader crossed a line. Scheer's response, if the Prime Minister actually intends to commence a lawsuit, bring it on. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
For more on this, let's bring in Vashi Kapellas, host of Power and Politics. All right, Vashi, political calculations at stake here, obviously. Why would the Prime Minister threaten to sue the Conservative leader like this?
One word, Rosie, chill. The Prime Minister and people in his office appear to want to make sure that the threat of this lawsuit has a chilling effect on the kinds of accusations coming from the Prime Minister's office. Sources inside the Prime Minister's office tell us that they feel like the accusations or certain accusations made by the leader of the opposition are baseless, that they're made without any evidence. And so they're hoping, as I said, that this sort of has a chilling effect on it. The interesting part, though, politically, at least strategically speaking, though, is that you have to wonder, coming from a government that has continually told us for weeks now, we should be paying attention to other things, that Canadians should be paying attention to other things. The threat of this lawsuit almost certainly ensures the exact opposite happens.
Okay, and I would imagine when Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives got this letter a week ago, they made some of those calculations.
They sure did, and that's why we're hearing probably about it today. They had it with their lawyers, but they certainly released it today with a splash, and that is because they know exactly what we were just talking about, that it ensures Canadians continue talking about the SNC-Lavalin controversy, even though the government doesn't want us to. Their sort of celebration might come with a bit of a caveat, and that is, in the past, history shows us, for example, when Stephen Harper threatened this type of lawsuit against Stéphane Dion, when Jean Chrétien did the same to Preston Manning, they were both dropped. So they didn't end up heading to court. We don't know if this one will end up playing out in court. However, what we do know is that it keeps it going. It keeps the controversy going. And for at least a little while longer, we're going to be talking about SNC-Lavalin.
Okay, Vashi Kapelas, thanks for your help on this tonight.
My pleasure, Rosie.
Government officials, Adrian, also point out, of course, that this notice is an attempt to try and send a message about the level of political discourse in this country right now, something the Prime Minister has, of course, talked about before.
And probably will again the closer we get to the election. Rosie, we have been watching something else unfolding across the country all day. These are the people decked out in green, honoring the life of one of the Humboldt Broncos by trying to save other lives. Now, Logan Boulet was on the bus that crashed a year ago yesterday. He died a year ago today. And what happened next is what led to this, Green Shirt Day. His organs were donated and saved 6 lives. And so a push to remind people of just how important organ donation is. And there is a very real urgent need. In 2017, more than 4,300 people were on wait lists for organ transplants. That's kidneys, lungs, and hearts. There were nearly 3,000 transplants performed, but not nearly enough. 242 people died while they were waiting. After Boulet's organs were donated, there was a bit of a spike in people registering to one day do the same. And as Cameron McIntosh shows us, that became known as the Logan Boulet effect.
A province away in another junior league. The Transcona Railers Express have no official link to Humboldt. They're just hockey people who felt they should do something more than a moment of silence. So at this playoff game, they're trying to register organ donors.
We believe that it's important that we all have a part to help other people, and this is a way that we can do that.
Green Shirt Day is in honor of Logan Boulet, a 21-year-old Humboldt Bronco who died a year ago today, taken off life support the day after the crash. His family followed his wishes to donate his organs, inspiring an estimated 100,000 Canadians to register as donors. The Logan Boulet effect became a trend. Now his parents are hoping it becomes an annual campaign.
I brushed off his discussion of mortality he wanted to have. And he said, nope. I'm going to sign up and donate my organs. I'll sign up to be an organ donor before the age of 21 on my birthday.
We can't change what happened. However, as we know, we can change the outlook, the health, and the lives for so many people waiting for an organ transplant.
The Logan Boulet effect was visible today, from green shirts on social media to events around the country, including this flash mob in Toronto to encourage more donors.
So there's no specific number in mind, but as many people as possible, and not only register, but then have that conversation with your family.
Back at the game, it was an organ recipient who dropped the puck. Linda Edwards faced a 10-year wait for a kidney before her sister was matched. Otherwise, she says, she may have died on the waiting list.
When I was waiting, there wasn't that many. So it made a world of difference, saving people's lives.
The Railers are hoping to make their organ drive an annual event, a living tribute from one team to another. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
So Green Shirt Day is all about getting people to register to be organ donors, but Nova Scotia is planning to remove that step altogether.
When this bill becomes law, it will no longer be a question of registering to be an organ donor. We will all be considered to be organ donors.
So last week, the province announced plans to bring in presumed consent for organ and tissue donations, meaning you have to opt out of donating. That would be a North American first, and already New Brunswick is considering doing it too. In the meantime, even if you do register, there's no guarantee you'll actually become a donor, because to be eligible, a patient needs to die under specific circumstances, usually hooked up to a ventilator to keep the organs viable. And then there's your family to consider. They will ultimately make the decision, which is why it's important to tell them your choice. Now, Green Shirt Day is one way Logan Boulet's family is keeping his memory alive. Just ahead, we'll hear from loved ones of the other 15 people killed in that bus crash about how they are remembering those they lost.
Okay, let's turn to a story now about your health. Canadians have been getting sick for months. 2 have died, and public health officials are warning about a salmonella outbreak that now stretches across 6 provinces. The Public Health Agency of Canada has confirmed 63 cases. BC is the hardest hit province so far, with 22 infections. The outbreak, though, has sent 18 people to hospital. We asked Talia Ricci for some hard facts on how it spread and what's being done to protect you.
Health officials haven't yet identified a source, but there are some clues. Experts say it's likely not produce or eggs because the cases are so widespread.
Probably a long shelf life product, so because it can be distributed over a wide area. It's potentially something that's very common, like a frozen chicken product.
Or it could be something we don't typically associate with foodborne illnesses, like pet food. Our expert says salmonella can be transferred just by handling the food.
They are speaking to sick individuals, trying to get them to remember the foods that they've consumed, where they purchased those foods, and then they're trying to look for patterns between all of the sick individuals.
But that won't be easy. This outbreak started last November and people are still getting sick. Do you remember what you ate months ago? But if they can zero in on a source, a hypothesis develops, finally leading to a product they can test.
If they find the same salmonella in that product, then they've got what we call a smoking gun.
You'll start to feel symptoms anywhere from 6 hours to 72 hours after exposure. They include fever, nausea, and diarrhea. The most vulnerable people are infants, children, seniors, and people with compromised immune systems. Health Canada recommends washing your hands before and after preparing food. Make sure meat, fish, and eggs are fully cooked. And don't eat raw cookie dough. Flour can be a carrier. The symptoms of salmonella infection usually last for 4 to 7 days, and most healthy people don't require treatment. But if you think you have it, Health Canada says to contact your doctor. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
Here are some other developing stories we are watching this Sunday night, starting with the largest demonstration yet against Quebec's Bill 21. It's the biggest protest so far against Quebec's plan to ban government workers in positions of authority from wearing religious symbols. While the province intends to pass the bill during the legislature's spring sitting, organizers are vowing at least 10 more days of protest. And a shakeup in the Trump administration. A short time ago, Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen announced she was resigning. On Sunday nights, Briar Stewart is here throughout the evening to track developing stories like this one. Briar.
Well, Rosie, Kirstjen Nielsen had a meeting with President Trump at the White House this afternoon, and there were reports that he asked for her resignation. Now, as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Nielsen was tasked with trying to carry out some of the administration's most contentious plans, like building a border wall and the zero-tolerance policy, which led to children being separated from their parents. She had reportedly been on shaky ground with the president for months, but joined him on Friday at a border crossing in California to talk about what they say is an immigration crisis. Now, this evening, Nielsen released a statement saying that, "I hope the next secretary will have the support of Congress and the courts in fixing the laws which have impeded our ability to fully secure America's borders." On Twitter, Trump thanked her for her service and announced that he's appointing the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner as the acting secretary.
Okay, Briar Stewart in Vancouver tonight. Thanks, Briar.
There is no question smartphones have become entwined with our daily lives. Many of us just can't live without them. We all know that. And with security and privacy becoming increasingly top of mind for users, there's now another growing threat to be aware of. It's called stalkerware. Stalkers using apps to spy on their victims. Now, researchers at one antivirus company found that over 58,000 Android users had stalkerware installed last year. Many of them had no idea. Wendy Mesley, who's the host of CBC's The Weekly, digs into what is hiding inside your phone.
Of course, a new phone.
That's a clip from You, a hit show on Netflix. It's about a stalker who steals his victim's phone to gain access to her whole life. It's not just happening on TV shows. There are hundreds of apps that can give stalkers the ability to track their victims. All you need is the app and a way to get into your victim's phone. Once these apps are installed, abusers can gain access to their victims' location, texts, photos, everything you need to harass or blackmail someone. A Canadian woman living in Australia was targeted. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, Lisa Harnham's fiancé installed stalkerware on her phone and discovered she was planning to flee their abusive relationship. He threw her off their 15th floor balcony and was convicted of murder. Digital activist Eva Galperin was inspired to do something.
I did not expect my tweet to get quite as much attention as it did.
Galperin tweeted, "If you're a woman who has been sexually abused by a hacker who threatened to compromise your devices, contact me and I'll make sure they are properly examined." Her tweet was retweeted 10,000 times.
It is not ethical or legal or right to covertly install malware on somebody else's device in order to spy on them, even if they are your partner, even if you think that they are cheating.
We reached out to a women's shelter in Toronto, and they told us that when victims of sexual abuse first arrive, they tell them to turn off all location settings on their phone. That if they're really worried, they should even smash the phone. And that's because they know that abusers can use this technology to track and even terrorize their victims. And the scariest part of all, sometimes you can't even detect this technology on your phone.
Right now, the antivirus industry mostly doesn't recognize spouseware and stalkerware as malicious.
So far, only one major security firm has agreed to change how its antivirus software detects spyware to help people know if their phone has been compromised. Wendy Mesley, CBC News, Toronto.
Still ahead on The National, why reading off a tablet could be worse for your toddler than reading a book.
And our must-see moment when a BC hockey coach found out he was getting a desperately needed kidney.
Plus, the Sunday interview, what is next for Canada's latest teen tennis sensation?
I would like to maybe crack the top 15 and do very well in the Grand Slams.
So your coach doesn't quite know this yet?
Well, we kind of spoke about it a bit here and there.
My chat with Bianca Andreescu is coming up.
So what kinds of stuff did you find here on the beach today?
I found like garbage bags, like
bunch of
granola bar
plastic,
wrappers,
water bottles, tissue paper.
So today we have kids from students from local schools. Right now on the beach is Ron Colley, he's grade 5, and it's World Oceans Day here at Middle Cove Beach. So the grade 5s are really wonderful to work with because they love to get in and do the activities, but they also make the connection between the activity and the ocean and the science of it. So on the beach here today, we have the Ocean Science Center. The dive team are down here getting live creatures and sort of bringing them up in front of the kids to see. And we have a team from DFO also here doing activity on marine debris because oceans plastics is sort of the theme of this World Oceans Day.
How does it make you feel when you find garbage on a beautiful beach like this?
Sad because, like, knowing that it affects fish because they swallow the plastic.
It's important because if we don't do this, a lot of the garbage, fish could eat it and then it could get caught in the organs and they can't eat, they can't breathe.
Surprised you just how much plastic you found in a place like this?
Yeah. It looks really clean, but then when you look around, you find a bunch of like trash around and then you're like, wow.
What have you guys been teaching the kids about the oceans in classroom before you got to this day?
Lots of discussions about awareness of the marine life and respect for them and the importance of keeping our oceans clean and caring for them like we do every other part of our world. It's amazing actually, right from when they start school, even sooner, they're aware of how important that is. So there are future generations, so teach them now, put it into practice, and that's what we're here to do today.
Does it make you think differently about the kinds of things that you buy and shop for in your everyday life?
Yeah, you could like buy reusable stuff. Like reusable bags, reusable water bottles, like all that. And less plastic stuff. I don't think that like takeout places should use styrofoam because you really don't need it when you could just be using other stuff to put it in. When you eat like takeout and stuff, you don't have to have the like plastic stuff on top.
We should make more reusable things, and people should buy water bottles instead of the plastic ones. They should buy like metal ones or the reusable plastic ones.
And they could do more things like this to teach kids like how they can do ways to like prevent that. Because really it's for our fault and it's affecting us a lot.
If you take time to read your kids' bedtime stories, well, it may be paying off. A new study from Ohio State found that young children who have at least 5 books read to them every day will enter kindergarten having heard 1.4 million more words than children who don't have anyone reading to them. So that could explain why some kids learn to read a lot faster than others. But does it matter if those books are paper or electronic? Cass Rusi went looking for answers.
Tweet, tweet, says the parrot.
Every sound.
My car needs oil.
Every image.
Let's count the fish. Ready? 1.
Every lesson has these youngsters thoroughly engaged. Whether it's story time at the library or at home, reading books out loud not only helps develop early language and social skills, it taps into their imagination and creativity too.
Ever since she was little, has loved print books. She likes to play with them and handle them.
What does a sheep say? Ba. Ba. Good job.
But with ebooks and tablets becoming the choice for many readers, parents like Colleen Russo believe they can be a much richer experience for her daughter Ripley.
It really does foster excitement in her and encourages her to dive deeper into the book.
In a recent study, researchers wondered if the format of books used made any difference in how parents and children interact with each other. Lead author Tiffany Munzer said print books fostered more interaction and improved dialogue between parent and toddler.
Parents often, when reading print books, will ask open-ended questions or will relate some of the story content back to the child's life experiences.
She found toddlers were distracted by the technology that comes with ebooks.
Some of the dialogue that might have been happening around an electronic book might be swipe that page or tap that button or don't touch that page or don't turn that or don't tap that button.
The question is how we interpret it, right? And what we make of it.
This educational researcher at the University of Toronto agrees with many points in this study, but she also believes there's value in ebooks for children, especially if it comes with parental support.
Given that we know that these devices can be used in a positive way for children's learning, how can you get them to think deeply about the story and to make inferences about the story that they wouldn't otherwise without the parents' support?
Try to stick to more of the content of the story and try not to focus so much on the actual technology itself because it might distract away from the key pieces of learning.
Truck jam.
Both sides of the debate agree. Reading, whether on a tablet or a book, is better than no reading at all. Cass Rusi, CBC News, Toronto.
Reading's my favorite thing, so I agree. Still ahead on the National, remembering the Humboldt Broncos, tributes to those who died aboard that bus 1 year ago from those who knew them.
But first, my interview with Bianca Andreescu. We talk about that now viral pep talk and how she got back on her feet.
This is so bad. Okay, that's good. Perfect. I like to hear that. So go out there and keep completing every single ball, every single point.
Oh man, I'm actually tearing up because at that point I honestly didn't know if I could continue.
Tonight, meet 2 men who covered war with a crayon. Historians with a difference. 2 men who traced the personally experienced events of 2 wars in their dog-eared sketchbooks. Perhaps the world's best-known war cartoonists, Bruce Bairnsfather and Bill Mauldin. It's 40 years since Bairnsfather's war ended, 13 years since Mauldin's came to its double finish. Yesterday was the day allowed for the act of recollection. And weekend editor Gregory Clark had a few thoughts about remembrance.
How little war really means to us is best demonstrated in the fact that we set aside 1 minute of silence out of the 5,256,000 minutes of the year as a mark of respect and mourning for the 58,000 Canadians killed in action in the First War and the 39,000 in the Second War. We declare a whole day for remembrance, but we gravely suggest 1 minute for silence, and hardly anybody remembers. Thus likely is war brushed off by all save the true mourners, and even some of them forget. For reasons of convenience, many of the formal observations of November 11 were held on Saturday and Sunday, November 8th and 9th. A woman of my acquaintance lost her husband in the First War and her son in the Second. She was invited to attend ceremonies on each of the 3 dates, one by her husband's regiment, one by her church, and one by her son's school principal. I offered to be her escort on each or any of the occasions. As a matter of fact, she said, declining, every day is Remembrance Day with me, every day, every night, all the years through. War, you see, except for the brief time it rages, is not a public matter at all. In the long view, it's almost entirely a private matter.
And so it was for Bill Malden and Bruce Bairnsfather. By accident, their private view of war became familiar to millions, but remained no less private. Bruce Bairnsfather was a man of elastic temperament. No amount of fatigue, hardship, peril, or pain could quench his vital spirit or reduce his exuberant sense of humor. Before 1914, he'd been many things, now a regular soldier, now an engineer. He had no thought of sketching except for mischief on walls, shirt cuffs, or tablecloths. Without the war, he might never have put pencil to paper for publication, but the war insisted. Charles Templeton met him for close-up.
This is your most famous drawing, the better old, isn't it, Captain Bruce?
I suppose it is. Everybody seemed to take to this one more than any other.
How did it come to be drawn?
Well,
did you see some incident like this?
Yes, I happened to be in a battle and was trying to get out of it, to be perfectly candid, and I was running about this field, and as I did so, I saw a whole crowd of fellows stuck in a shell hole together. Not only 2, but several of them, and it all struck me as very pathetic to see anybody in such a predicament. Nobody knew whether the war was over there or over here, and I thought this thing over for some time and nursed the idea in my mind.
Bianca, it's your pitch. Fans, Bianca Andreescu.
Her game is actually tennis, not baseball, but Bianca Andreescu's career has heated up so quickly, exploded so sensationally, she's getting all sorts of attention. The fans just voted her the Women's Tennis Association Breakthrough of the Month. That's just one more indication that the world is keenly watching this young Canadian.
Bianca Andreescu.
She's 18 and she's a climber. Canada's Bianca Andreescu was ranked 152nd at the start of January, a virtual unknown on the WTA circuit. But look how those numbers soared in just a few months.
Astounding Andreescu. One of the most astonishing performances at a tournament from an 18-year-old you will ever see.
Now she is 23rd in the world, thanks to a win in Indian Wells that surprised even a young talent who just sweats confidence.
I'm the... Can I say the other word? No, I can't. The effing champion of Indian Wells.
She's versatile enough on the courts to drive her opponents to distraction. Getting under the skin of seasoned vets like Angelique Kerber and beating other former world #1s like Caroline Wozniacki and the great Venus Williams. And she is not afraid of who might be next. In Bianca Andreescu, Canada has someone to cheer for. We met up in Toronto before the start of a huge Grand Slam season, and no one who loves the sport could resist banging a few balls around with her. Any door, any floor will do. So when you're a kid and you're banging against your mesh balls, against the, the walls at home or the garage, is there like a little internal dialogue? Like it's Bianca versus Serena?
That's actually funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I would always pretend like I was in the finals of US Open, actually. And I wasn't playing against Serena, I was playing against Kim Clijsters. But that's when she was playing. But now I'd probably change that to, obviously, Serena or Simona Halep. I really look up to her.
Why? What is it about her? Oops.
She's a really good tennis player, and I strive to be like that, and maybe even better.
Oh, I think you're well on your way to that, my friend.
You are too.
Oh yeah, no,
You're hitting really well.
I'm terrified here and sweating like a crazy person. So this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me, but we have to stop or I will be here all day doing this with you. So should we go talk?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. It is really, really nice to meet you. I'm one of those Canadians who's been watching you and jumping up and down in my living room watching you go.
And I've seen you so many times on TV, so it's nice to finally meet.
Equality on the shirt.
Yes.
You had a choice of a whole bunch of things to wear. Why that?
I guess it was just a gut feeling. I wanted to put this out there because I think a lot of women are fighting for equality in the sport, and I want to be one of them one day.
What's not equal in the sport to you?
Obviously the pay, and Billie Jean King has done so much. She formed the WTA because it was a men's sport, mainly back in the 1960s, 70s. But now WTA is becoming bigger and bigger with all of these female athletes stepping up, and we have a voice now, so I want to have one too.
Well, you surely do have a voice. I mean, we had a conversation back in January of this year. You were in Auckland, you were at an airport. You had just sort of stunned everybody by getting as far as you did into the semis, and your ranking jumped, right? It jumped to 107th that day.
My adrenaline rush was like about here. A couple of people told me that I would be around 107. So that is not bad. That is not bad.
What happened to you after that? Because you're sitting here now at, what, 23?
Yeah, that's crazy to hear. I was also stunned after that run.
We have been watching you in the last few months, and it feels like time has sort of been really strange because people were learning your name, right, in January,
yeah. And
now they're all sort of shouting your name. When you got to Indian Wells, that seemed to amp it up a bit. What is it that happened to you at Indian Wells that made everything work for you?
I didn't really have much pressure on my shoulders, so I just went out there and I try not to focus on who's on the other side and try to just focus on the things I can control and myself. And with my game style, I feel like a lot of players have trouble dealing with all of the slices and change of rhythm, so I think that also helped me do well in the tournament.
It's funny you talk about your game style because there was a podcast where the sports writer referred to you as a Frankenstein on the court in the best possible way. So it's sort of like a monster built with all the perfect limbs of past players. So what do you have that makes you such an anomaly?
I am an all-around player. I like to come to the net. I like to slice. I don't just hit the same ball over and over again. I'll throw in a drop shot here and there. I'm also pretty aggressive with my shots. I like to go for it, and I think I move pretty well on the court, so I would say I'm an all-around player. So
before we get to a little bit more about that, I just want to back up for people who are maybe starting to learn about you, because you're young, you're 18 years old. Where did this bug come from?
This bug, it started, like everything started when I won Le Petit Raz when I was 13, I think. 14. I really got a sense of how the pros get treated, because that tournament you'd be signing autographs after matches, you'd be giving interviews, and you'd be playing in front of thousands of people. So that really gave me a taste of how the WTA tour is, I guess.
When you said it gave you a taste, how good did it taste? What did it taste like?
It tasted pretty damn good, like the taste of a really good dessert.
So your dad said that's the moment at that tournament that as a family you decided to commit to tennis. So
yes, it was.
What does it mean when a family commits to tennis?
Well, I'm not in this alone. They've been with me since day one. They're the ones driving me to practice, to school. They're the ones behind the scenes. They also made a lot of sacrifices with work. Obviously, they took time away from that. But I'm sure it's all worth it in the end when all of this success is coming towards us.
The great thing about being able to talk to you is that you can maybe help us understand what was in your mind in certain moments.
Okay.
Because we all want to know. So this is when you were having a hard time, a little bit.
Oh yeah, in the finals.
Yeah, so this is Indian Wells, third set. You're down a little bit. You look a little bit stressed out. You go to talk to your coach, and everybody's listening to you. So let's just play this here.
It's Kerber who breaks.
I really wanted to smash my racket at that point.
They may well feel a little heavier now.
Yeah, you know how strong you are. You know how strong you are mentally and physically. And now it's true. You need to push. You're right. You're going to need to push through it. You're going to need to stay strong under adversity. But that's okay. That's what you want. You welcome competition.
This is so bad.
Okay, that's good. Perfect. I like to hear that. So go out there and keep competing every single ball, every single point.
Oh man, I'm actually tearing up because at that point I honestly didn't know if I could continue, because at that point I was cramping a little bit too. But
you looked really
oh my
distressed.
Gosh, yeah.
How is it that those words from him, right, that made such a difference for you?
It's the mindset. That switched my mindset at that point. Like you said, I was so anxious and nervous and just tired.
So how do you do that? I think you don't have to play tennis to have that moment in life where you just don't think you can push anymore, and that those stupid voices in your head that are trying to tell you can't. How do you turn that around?
Yeah, I've been working on that for so many years. It's not like it comes overnight. I work a lot. I've worked with a psychologist before, and my mom introduced me to meditation at a really young age, so all of that is definitely helping with being able to last long matches like I did in the finals and even in the semifinals. And it also helps with not focusing on things you can't control. And I think I'm doing that really well now, and it's definitely showing.
One other video we have. So again, this is match point, the second match point. You're leading 5-1 advantage, Bianca.
A perfect 10. Bianca Andreescu wins 10 matches in a row. She's keeping the good times rolling.
Oh,
you're such a drama queen, she says.
She won't be scared of anyone.
You're such a drama queen, she says. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. When we walked to the net, no, I didn't hear that. But I did hear her say something, and I'm sure it wasn't very nice. But I mean, it was in the heat of the moment. It was 2 a.m. She lost to me last week. She lost to me in Miami. So I know every time we step on the court is going to be a hard battle, but I'm just trying to take the high road here and just not fight back or say anything about that.
These are the head games of tennis, though, right?
It is. I guess it's what makes the fans interested and entertained. So,
has anybody pulled you aside with some cautions and talk to you?
No. On the tour, everyone's in their own world, in their own space. Like, everyone's friendly. Don't get me wrong, but everyone's just in their own space, and we're their competition, right?
Of course.
So.
And so now you're doing very well in the rankings. I guess the goals have changed a bit.
Yes, I actually didn't get a chance to sit down with my coach to talk about that yet. But in my eyes, I would like to maybe crack the top 15 and do very well in the Grand Slams.
So your coach doesn't quite know this yet?
Well, we kind of spoke about it a bit here and there, but...
Well, the Nationals for news anyways. You might as well find out here.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you have everything in the world waiting for you, and we're going to be watching.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
Okay, so two things. You're pretty good at tennis,
Why,
in
thank
case
you.
this doesn't
Against
work
doors.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's a backup. It's a backup for you. And I loved her. And you know what I loved about her? Just how unapologetically confident she is. I don't know if that's being a teen, being a tennis player, but I took something from that.
For sure, it's going to take her far. You know, I think what's pretty striking for me about that is that I've always had this impression that this is a sport where veteran and retired athletes sort of mentor the young ones, like Bianca, but this is not her experience at all. I mean, she has questions for them, but you know, the young Canadians are kind of on their own, but they're definitely blazing a trail. You've got Bianca, Denis Shapovalov, Felix. There could be 3 Canadian teens in the top 20 by the summer, which would be, you know, if you're a tennis fan, huge.
Yeah, lots of fun. All right, thanks for that, Adrienne. Still ahead on the national, though. Green Shirt Day sparked a national conversation about organ donation. And in our moment tonight, the special bond between donor and recipient.
But it turned out he's the one that they were talking about. And after 2 months of testing, he's going to give me his left kidney.
Nina Bernie Francis Teluisi Atleawi Aich Maubuttu Aspag Alnuegadi Gikchuai Sydney Ach Nigegisku Kichka Weskud Megai Daspadan Gohoi Ned when Deluido Elder Eduk Dalmine with Nengmoinet Nengmo Gichka Weskud Kiskuk Medebenagia Hawana Duahanega Halistu Kida Tiko Kewahi Mudida Najia Bohonemuadida. An elder in the community is someone that the other younger community members rely on for advice, sometimes for comfort, you know, wisdom, and things like that. It's usually someone who is respected, who is known to have knowledge about something or other. And nobody has it all, but certainly everybody has a little bit. I don't know whether, you know, anyone actually has the ambition of becoming an elder. You know, if someone said, well, here's what you do to become a younger, well, I'd become a younger very quickly. But I guess there is no special criteria. It's just that you've lived your culture, you speak the language, and sometimes you don't necessarily speak the language, but you've kind of lived the culture, and perhaps your parents rather spoke the language, or your grandparents, and you kind of understand the ways of your ancestors, you know. Someone who has had time to, you know, to muse about the culture and to look at the language in its in-depth look at the language. Someone who has actually taken an active role in learning about the culture and considering it and improving on their language and so on. I think that's a very good description. Nowadays, it seems to me that every individual that has a speck of knowledge about the culture would like to refer to themselves as elders, but they're far from what would be considered an elder. It's not always just age, although most of the time you are an older person because you've gathered all that knowledge. You will get some young people who have a tremendous amount of wisdom, and then you will get some elders with not very much wisdom, you know. So it's a tough one to call if you're asking for a criteria. And the other thing you'll notice is the elders are usually quite humble. They don't make an issue of it. They don't identify themselves as elders, but you'll get some much younger people who do identify themselves as elders, which is not very satisfactory, shall we say, to the other members of our communities. I suspect that the younger people today must step back a little bit and stop looking elsewhere for knowledge about the Mi'kmaq culture.
There were a lot of tears this weekend as families and friends remembered the 16 people who died a year ago in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. Their deaths touched the country, but their lives touched those who knew them best.
I know he's with us. People say, Marilyn, he's with you. I said, I know he's with me, but I just want to see his expressions. I want to see that happiness in his face. That's what I'm missing right now, eh? Like, I want to see, you know, the jubilation in him and all the excitement.
He's talking about going to university and different things, and he's adamant that he's more than just a hockey player. And he told the Broncos and told the numerous scouts that I'm not going to your university just to play hockey. I want to go where I want to go, and that's University of Lethbridge. So that's why we've tried to push really hard that he's more than just a hockey player.
We are devastated. I don't know how to describe a loss of a child. People say they can't imagine what we're going through, and I think, no, you can't.
In the grand scheme of things and in the hockey world, Mark was ordinary. But he did everything at an extraordinary level. So he was polite, he was well-mannered, he was honest, he worked hard, he put others ahead of himself. It's easy to take the shortcut all the time. Mark never took a shortcut, no matter what it was.
Growing up with him, he drove us everywhere. I was always so confident in him, and I knew he'd get us safely point A to point B, and I knew he, driving all those kids, he would get them safely.
He used to tell his players, and it was not in this context at all, but we've changed it to fit our context now. But he used to say, take care of the seconds and the minutes take care of themselves. And he meant it strictly in on the ice. If you work hard that second, and eventually the game moves on and whatever. So that's kind of our life motto at the moment, is you just worry about the minute we're in at this moment and don't worry about tomorrow.
We just came back from a trip. We haven't buried Adam yet, and I sat down in his favorite chair in our living room, and I took his urn and I set it on my lap. And I pulled out my phone and I showed him pictures from our trip. I'm holding in my lap my 6'2", 200-pound athletic son in an urn, just like I held him when he was a baby.
Brody was the kind of person you just embrace, because everything he said you paid attention to. For such a young person, he knew lots, and he was magical almost. Sitting next to Tyler Beaver at games and working the stats were some of his most enjoyable moments.
You impacted so many people in a positive way just by being in the same room as them. Before I met you, I had never met anyone as charismatic and funny as you were. If you asked anyone about Logan, they would tell you that there was never a dull moment when he was around.
He loved to tease all the time, especially me. He's a middle child, and as everyone knows, the middle child is goofy and the peacemaker. He loved to make me smile, and when he moved away, he started to always say he was number one, which made his brother and sister really jealous. And of course, I'd have to say, no, you're not. As he has a brother and sister too. But today, Jax, you're number one, and I love you.
He was kind, never
treated anybody as if they were smaller than him or less than him. He had this deep appreciation for the way that everybody could feel, and he was probably the easiest person to relate to talk to love and trust that I've ever known.
Nobody had to tell us this, but certainly Connor was the whole package, a true Canadian boy. He was tough when he needed to be. On the ice, we all saw him throw hits that would break bones. But with his friends and his family, he was kind, gentle, and he loved deeply.
He was outstanding. There's not a bad word you can say about that guy. I'd be looking down the bench, where's Shotzi? I need to ask him what his opinion is. That was my first instinct every time. So where's Shotzi? I need to ask him. He'd always have the answer for me.
His sense of humor, his humility, his passion for life that he had. He would have found a way to make his mark. Probably something that required a lot of brain power.
Parker's compassion for others never went unnoticed, no matter what the circumstance was. He always had a positive outlook on the problem and knew how to make light of a dark situation. Whether someone stole the tailgate from his truck, or I let in 3 terrible goals on 3 shots, Tobes would be standing there with that goofy grin of his saying, "Don't worry, man, we will get them next time."
Stephen had an incredible sense of humor. That, combined with his natural resilience and his infectious personality, made him someone that you'd always want to have in your corner. His personality was much like his play on the ice. He was a fantastic team player that you could always depend on. And he was so even keel, even when faced with the toughest of situations.
That was very powerful. As we told you earlier, this is Green Shirt Day, held in memory of one of the Humboldt victims, Logan Boulet. And today, people are sharing some powerful stories of organ donation, like this one.
Out of the selflessness of his heart and generosity, he decided to give to me. After 2 months of testing, he's going to give me his left kidney.
The moment one man learned his friend was a match. Next.
Thank you and welcome. Welcome. You heard the names of most of the people we'll have on tonight's program, but I thought we have a very special guest with us tonight, and I thought I would help him run down, not run down, but talk about more of, give you a better sense of who some of these people are. This is Nicky Lenin, who is a comedian from the Soviet Union and is visiting.
Now, this is a Soviet poem in your language. That's okay, have fun, it's okay. Laughter is enema for the soul. Here we go. A poem now from me to you, for young lovers wherever you are. I love you in blue. I love you in red. But most of all, you are psychic, okay? Oh, wow. Heavy duty. Something quick for you now, some Soviet music. In the Soviet Union, we are not allowed to play the blues, so I'm going to play the reds for you now. Something special? First, a little toot for me? Okay. We are ready. Everybody, shake from side to side. Come on now. What's the matter? You would do it if I was blind. Here we go. Very good. No, this won't work tonight. Now it is time for something very special for you. Some culture among the caca we must do. This is a Shakespearean play for you tonight called The Taming of Your Shoes. Let me go do this now. We are ready. Once again, for those of you on acid, this is a frisbee. It is a bleak night, my lord. Look! The clouds like boogers hang from the nostril of the moon. Aye. 'Tis foul, these things I say. I know not what my mind does. Oh, I once again to walk among you. 'Tis foul, late. Does anyone have drugs to ease my pain? My kingdom for a quaalude, I jive you not. Now, will nothing rid this hair from my palms? Nay, nothing. 'Tis the end. I must leave you. I must teach my lips to say farewell. For now they can only say goodbye.
This person is not from the Soviet Union. This is Robin Williams. He is also, among other things, a creature from outer space who will appear on Happy Days on February 28th. Is that right?
Yeah, that was fun. They are wonderful people.
Kazi, Benibet, we have come to your planet looking for virgins. Oh, no luck here.
You are also the world's most intelligent child?
Oh, yeah, Andrew. Andrew's a...
Yesterday, Mother got very upset because I put the hamster in the microwave. Pop goes the weasel. No, really, I find most adults very banal, but I'll talk to you anyway. No, it is true. I made a laser watch. If it was working, you'd all be dead.
Where did you get that character from? Was it based on anyone?
Oh, me, basically, as a kid. Just...
Were you brilliant as a child?
Oh, yes, and as a young man, too. No, I was basically a little loner, lived by myself. Mother never came to me. She said, here, grow up on your own. Here's a trust fund, have a good time. I was 16 before I had my first Porsche. I had to work all summer long just to go to Europe. It's a tough, tough, cruel life. But no, that's basically me as a kid.
One life lost, but then 6 saved. That math pushed thousands to become organ donors after the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. Logan Boulet was the face of the movement, the need for it a reality for people right across the country, including Stephen Gillis. He got really sick in the summer and was told he would need a kidney transplant. That's when the search for a donor began. The moment it ended, when he realized his friend was the answer, that's our moment.
You're a match. I'm gonna give you my kidney.
What? Yeah. Oh, crazy. You're a match? Like same blood type?
No, I've gone through everything.
What?
I've gone through everything for 2 months.
He's the match.
I'm it. I'm number 1.
What?
I'm like, oh, great. Thinking like, oh, he means he's going to go get tested, or, you know, he's a blood type match, because my blood type, of course, is rare as well. But it turned out he's the one. He's going to give me his left kidney.
He's such a top-notch, fantastic human being, and I thought I might be able to help, and so I tried to help, and it's all working out.
I mean, you see it in the video. I'm still processing it. I don't understand. I'm never...
How are you doing this?
All this attention needs to be used to help others. And that's what I've tried to do from the beginning. So today on Green Shirt Day, in honor of Logan Boulet, the Boulet effect, and the Boulet family, I would love to see people go and sign up in their area.
Just make yourself a little bit curious. Look into it. Wonder about it.
You don't have to take all this with you, and you can save many lives, just like Logan did, and like Michael is doing for me.
What an amazing gift. Stephen says that he has been friends with Michael and his wife Denise for a long time, but they haven't actually seen each other in 10 years. And then Michael heard his buddy was sick and started doing the research, and now he's looking after himself very carefully because they've both got big surgeries ahead.
So it's going to take, he's recovering from a different surgery right now. He's Crohn's disease. And then they're going to start figuring out the transplant. And his hope is to be back on the ice as a Pee Wee hockey coach in September. And I'm telling you, at the end of this show tonight, lots of inspiring stories, lots to think about. And that is The National for Sunday, April 7th. Good night.
Good night.